Hello, everybody. So let's first check the sound. Yasa, can you tell me something?
Hello.
Great.
Hello, Venerable Sir.
Hello, Venerable Sir.
Hello, Venerable Sir.
Nice. Nice to see you. So, Alma, so you live very close to this place?
I live half an hour away.
Half an hour away. Okay, that sounds good. All right. So, many people are coming today. We had a similar problem also in the previous class. Is there any special celebration today or something special that people are not coming? Nothing special. Maybe they think I'm on the airplane. Because I have actually cancelled in grade 1 and grade 4 because that was virtually impossible to do or impossible to do successfully. But I'm still keeping this class because reading the stories is very important so that we can finish the book. If you read the stories, there's a high chance that you can finish the book this year, and that would be a great achievement. All right, so let's start with meditation. You can sit down in a comfortable meditation posture. Make sure your back is erect, side cast down. And we can make the first determination in our minds voicelessly. From now on, for 15 minutes, I will meditate on muscles and radiate loving kindness without any movement. From now on, for 15 minutes, I will meditate on muscles and radiate loving kindness without any movement. From now on, for 15 minutes, I will meditate on muscles and radiate loving kindness without any movement. And with that determination, we can gently, lovingly notice the flat piece of flesh at the top of the head. We allow it to be heavy. And changing. We continue to the forehead, eyes, nose, lips, chin, cheeks, ears, back of the head, we allow all of the muscles and flesh throughout the head to be heavy and changing. We continue to the neck, shoulders, arms, elbows, forearms, wrists, palms, fingers, tips of fingers, chest, abdomen, back, we allow all of the muscles and flesh throughout the upper part of the body to be heavy and changing. We continue to the buttocks, thighs, knees, calves, heels, soles, toes, tips of toes, we allow all of the muscles and flesh throughout the body to be heavy and changing. We allow all of the body parts to be changing. And as we give the freedom to the body to be the way it is, we enjoy freedom from worry about the body. Let's watch this freedom. Let's enjoy this peace. Now let's share this peace with other living beings. We can start in our room. We can voicelessly allow. We don't force, we don't expect. We just give permission to all beings in this room to enjoy at least as much peace as I'm enjoying now. May all beings in this room be in peace. May all beings in this room be in peace. May all beings in this building be in peace. May all beings in this village or city be in peace. May all beings in this country be in peace. May all beings on this continent be in peace. May all beings on this planet be in peace. May all beings, including me, be in peace. We still have 2 minutes. We do not force, we don't allow. We do not force, we don't expect, but we do allow. We give the permission to all beings and ourselves to enjoy at least as much peace as we are already enjoying now. Watch the relationship between your mind and the object of the permission. Now, because the time for this sitting is finished, let's make the last determination in our minds voicelessly. From now on, I will always be calm. From now on, I will always be calm. From now on, I will always be calm. And we can slowly, mindfully change the way of our sitting. Stay where you are. We'll take 1 more minute to enjoy the peace we gained in meditation. We don't move at all during this minute and watch the mind Is there some seeing, hearing, some feeling, thinking? See if you can catch everything that happens. Try to catch only one thing at a time, but try to be catching continuously. Very well. So now everybody can come close to your camera. See, I will be getting the sun in here to do this. All right. So last time you took the Burmese, right, pronunciation. So today let's do Sri Lankan. So you can unmute yourself and we can start. Yamahang vadami tang vadeta.
Bhante.
Aham bhante.
Bhante.
Tisaranena saha. Panchasilang dhammang yajami. Anuggaham katva. Silang deta me bhante. Anukampang upadaya. Dutiyampi aham bhante. Tisaranena saha. Panchasilang dhammang yajami. Anuggaham katva. Silang deta me bhante. Anukampang upadaya. Tatiyampi aham bhante. Tisaranena saha. Panchasilang dhammang yajami. Anuggaham katva. Silang deta me bhante. Anukampang upadaya. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Buddhang saranang gacchami, dhammang saranang gacchami, sanghang saranang gacchami.
Buddham saranang gacchami, dhammam saranang gacchami, sangham saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, dutiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, dutiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi buddham saranang gacchami, dutiyampi dhammam saranang gacchami,
Dutiyampi Sangham
gacchami.
Tatiyampi buddhang saranang gacchami, tatiyampi dhammang saranang gacchami, tatiyampi sanghang saranang gacchami.
Dutiyampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami
Yampi
Dhammam Saranam Gacchami Dutiyam Sangham Saranam Gacchami
Saranaгаmanang paripunnang
Bhante
Panatipata veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Panatipadam Sikhapadam Samadhiyami
Adinnadana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Adinadana Sikhapadam Samadhiyami
Then Kame sumichhachara veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Kameshu Chachara Sikhapadam Samadhiyami
Musavada veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Musavada Sikhapadam Samadhiyami
Surameraya majjapamadatthana veramani sikkhapadang samadhiyami.
Suvamiraya Macchapadatthana
Tisaranena saddhing panchasilang dhammang sadhukang surakkhitam katva appamadena sampadetham. May you be happy, may you be healthy, may you soon attain the eternal bliss of Nibbana.
Sadhu, 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 sadhu.
Very well. So let's move. So I'll do the attendance. Caitlin, I saw you came quite late. Was everything fine?
Yes, I was stuck in traffic.
Your second try. Okay, that's good. That's fine. So I'll do the attendance right away. All right, so let's start by reading. So we are still missing 1.14, so let's correct. So I'll give it to someone who comes often. So let's start by 2.3, 1.14. So 2.2, Yaza. Make sure you first read the name of the story and then you read your summary. Yaza, I cannot hear you. You're muted.
2.2 The Voice of a Rich Man. In Rajagaha, a terrible plague broke out into a household, killing nearly everyone except for the son of the treasurer, named Kumbhagoska, who instructed his son to come back after the plague had disappeared and dig up 40 crores of gold buried under the household. When he returned, he got a job in hopes that he would be able to make money without using his wealth. However, the king suspected he was a rich man and got away for Kumbhagoska to expose his mass fortune. Kumbhagoska was caught and had to give up the 40 crores to the king, who in return gave him high honor and his daughter in marriage.
Nice. Okay, so that was 2.2. I can see that we have here the family tree. Sandy, did you actually share it in the post, in the Facebook post?
Not yet, I think, but I'll
Not
ask
yet.
my mom to.
Excuse me? You
But I'll ask my mom to.
You will ask your mom to do that. All right. So I'm trying to view it, but my screen got black and I see nothing. Okay, I see it was downloading. Maybe something is coming. So let me see if I can actually view it. Yes. So let's look at it. Okay. So can you explain to us what do you have there?
So this is for story 2.1 parts 1 through 3. There's a key at the top to try and explain, but yeah. In part 1, it's talking about the story of the Katu Halaka with his wife Kaji. Katu Halaka.
Uh-huh.
And his wife Kaji.
Uh-huh.
He tried to abandon.
Are they all humans? Are all
yes.
the people here humans?
These are all humans here.
Oh, there's a dog. Yeah, I see the dog. Yes. But there was a relationship between the dog and the Pacheka Buddha, right?
Oh, yeah. I wasn't sure how to really show that with the family tree.
Yes. What was the relationship of the Pacheka Buddha?
The dog basically loved
was taking care of the Pacheka
Buddha very well.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm sorry. What was the relationship between the? Wow, the knife pictures are so. Okay, very good. Anyway, what was the relationship between the Pacheka Buddha and the people here in the family? Did the Pacheka Buddha, the dog became the Ghosaka? Okay, I see. So we get so this first family tree is the most distant story, Then comes the dog and the Pachika Buddha. You could actually just make Pachika Buddha in a square and make this relationship. That's all. And
Okay.
Then this one is the present story, right?
Yes. That's where the story, the family tree ended at the end of part 3. It never mentioned the other 2 wives of Udena.
The other wife is Magandiya. So you get here one is Samavati, and then you have here this is Vasudadatta, right?
That was the Udena's mother.
Oh, okay. I see. Yes. So you didn't notice their mention about Magandiya and Vasudadatta in the story?
Not in the parts of the story I read just yet.
I see. This is your yes. These are parts 1 to 3. Okay. Wow. I'm so much looking forward to the next part. Excellent work. This is so amazing. Okay. Now looking at the story, I see like wow. I have forgotten like 80% of the story. It makes it so much easier to follow the story. That's great. Courtesan. Who was? What does it mean? This abandoned. Who is this related to? To the courtesan?
It's Gosaka was abandoned by the courtesan first, and then.
So in that case, you need to connect the courtesan with the Kosaka.
Yeah.
And if why did she abandon Kosaka? Was there any reason?
Because for her what's it called? For her family, it's for their traditions. The daughter would carry on, so courtesans normally they would get rid of sons whenever.
I see. So yes, this kind of arrow is actually fine, but instead of, but you could use this arrow, to completely connect the Gosaka, so it's clear who is actually abandoned.
It was closer before, but I had to lengthen it to squeeze in the treasure. That's why I forgot to fix the arrows.
Yeah, no problem. And then the treasure looks good. Did you how did you do this? Did you draw it on an iPad or draw it by hand? Probably.
Yeah, I was drawing it on an iPad.
Drawing it on it, yes, I see. Yeah, looks like you were. There's your handwriting, but at the same time, the ellipses and the squares are so perfect, and I was wondering how did you do that?
Yeah, the program I was using lets me fix it if it isn't straight.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, this makes it so nice. So I will tell you that courtesan actually is ZAN at the end.
Oh.
ZAN. Sure, son. Please check the spelling for Bhaddavati. I'm wondering if the A is long, but probably yes. I totally don't remember this, not at all. Mitta actually means friend. So are you sure that here Mitta is a name?
I think so. It mentioned that he was householder Mitta, and he was the one who was taking care of the alms passing out for the poor, where he first met Samavati.
I see. Very well. Very well. A killed B.
Yeah, that one's a little unclear.
With the knives.
Yeah.
I think it is better if the knives somehow that it would like be a kind of full connection, because you have there a knife floating above Gosaka and coming from treasurer's daughter, but it's actually pointing to the treasurer. So maybe if you could make another kind of line, maybe dotted line, or the zigzag line is the best when there is anger. Then it's used the big zigzag, zigzag line. So you could make zigzag line, and that would clearly show. And above that, you could say yes, you could make the zigzag line for anger, that somebody is trying to harm another person. And then the crossing lines for killing, for dead, could be different for killed and different for dead. So for dead, you could use like this, a kind of brown. How would you call it? Orange, brown. That kind of brown line to cross out. And for killing, you could use the other direction and red. So that immediately we see, so that person was killed. In this way, I'm not exactly sure. Was there anyone who really was killed?
The son of the treasure was killed through an accident, but yeah.
And who killed him?
The treasure. He was trying to kill Gosaka, but his son got caught and ended up dying instead.
I see. So then treasure would have to be connected with his son, and there would be a nice like double or triple line, which means that they have a beautiful relationship. But there would be explanation above: accidentally killed, and then son would be killed. All right, the explanation comes above the line, like you wrote this abandoned close to the lines from courtesan. So this kind of explanation actually is very powerful. If you can add that kind of explanation above those lines when it is not a normal. So if you have like 3 full lines, then that means that they have a very nice, very beautiful, amazing relationship. So you could have that between the treasurer and the son. And above those lines, you would write accidentally killed, and then son would be with a red line, the other direction. Then that I think would be clearer.
I also don't want to add too much words, because then it would make it a little too busy and hard and get confusing. But yeah.
Sure. Let's try and see. So, if you give them enough space, if it is enough space, then it is not that busy. So what you could is now you're using a kind of like square paper. You could use lengthy paper. You know what I mean? A kind of landscape resolution. Now you're using some kind of like square resolution, so you don't have there much space. You could use a landscape resolution, so you have more space, and spread them out more. So it seems like there is more space, so the words will not be crowding it too much. And with the other, but I think you have got pretty much what should be there. I'm curious, Magandiya, and then you have the Buddha into it, right? So the Buddha will be there. You will have to get Magandiya. You will have to get Magandiya there somewhere with her uncle and with her parents, and there will be a relationship with the Buddha. So there will be a beautiful relationship between the parents and the Buddha, and and there will be the zigzag relationship between Magandiya and the Buddha. Wow, this is so good. I'm so excellent work. Excellent work. Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing the update. Anyone here has any comments? Anything you would like to ask Sandy or suggest? Yasa, what do you think about this this genogram? Is it clear to you? Do you have any suggestions? What do you think about it? How does it feel to you?
I find it to be clear.
You find it to be clear? Almo, you have read the story, right? 2.1.
Yes.
What do you think about this this graph?
I think it's pretty good.
And Caitlin?
Could you repeat that?
Yes. My question is, what do you think about this this graph? Is it clear to you? And do you have any suggestions or any thoughts that come to your mind as you look at the graph?
Oh, it's really clear to me. Like, it's easy to tell, like, what happened without even reading the story. So I don't have any suggestions.
But you have read the story, right? So that makes it a little difficult for you to tell if it's clear for someone who did not read the story. But the agenda, or whatever you call it, the explanation at the top is very good. That was an amazing idea. Past life signified with colors. If character has no mentioned past lives, box will remain white. Okay. Okay. I see. Okay, yes. As soon as you connect the Kohosaka with the courtesan by the squiggly arrows, then you could write, you could write above those squiggly arrows, because we already know that abandoned is squiggly arrows, so you do not need to write the word anymore. But instead, you can write what would you write it? Something like contribution of bad karma, but that's just so much. I would like to find a word that would better say it. Yeah, consequence of bad karma. See if you can find some shorter word to write it. Something like due to bad karma, or retribution, something like that. See if you can find some word or some way. Maybe retribution would be fine for the time being, and see if you can find a better one. So it's clear that that Kohosaka is being abandoned by the courtesan as the consequence of his bad karma when he was kotu halaka. Kotu halaka. This O is read long because it's followed by a single consonant. Kotu halaka. And as Kotu halaka, he abandoned Kapi, and therefore now he is abandoned by the courtesan. So it would be clear if you write there retribution. I just now realized as I was trying to understand the Kotu halaka connection to Kohosaka. Are you sure about the spelling here? Kaij. Could it be Kaji or something like that?
Possibly.
Possibly, yes. Check that, because in Pali you do not have, or I'm not aware of case when you would have double vowel. You always have one. All right, so as soon as you see double vowel, probably it's not Pali language, or maybe it's a wrong spelling. Okay, I'm very happy that you did it on a tablet, so it's not such a big suffering to make the corrections, and I'm looking forward to see the new version. Very good. Yeah, and this could serve as a prototype for next genograms in the Buddhist teachings. Maybe, you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking about a big project. Making all of the scriptures into one big genogram. That would not be your work, Sunday. Of course, you could be a member of that big project. But let's see, maybe in the future, maybe next year, maybe after 50 years, maybe I will be dead by that time. But let's see what comes in the future. But thanks to your amazing work, it is possible to think about that project. And you cannot imagine how useful this project would be to understand the times of the Buddha. Wow, that would be so amazing. The map of the relationships and of the past lives. Wow, 547 jatakas. 547 stories of the Buddha's past lives. Imagine, and having it in a genogram like that. Okay, let's move on. Yes, Yamo had to leave soon, as usually. And but I don't think that Yamo had 2.6. Let me see. Oh yes. Okay. Well, that's the way it is. Fine, so let's continue. So we heard from Yaza 2.2. So now let's listen to 2.3. It's not done, right? Pipe show. It's not done. 2.4, Caitlin. Remember to read the story, the name of the story, and then the summary.
Simpleton's Holiday. So the religious instruction was given by the teacher with reference to Simpleton's holiday, Balanakatha.
How do you spell?
There was Balanakatha.
Balanakatha. Actually, you know, Nakatha means astrological, like when you have stars in a certain how to say that, in a certain way, you know, on sky. How do you call it? Constellation, perfect, exactly that word. So Nakata is a constellation, and Bala means foolish. So Nakata probably here is the name of a person. Is that or
no? It's the name of a holiday.
Of a holiday, okay.
Yes.
So in that case, it's a holiday that is decided by people at the time when the stars are in this constellation, when the stars are visible or when they look this way. All right, and Bala means foolish. So something is wrong about that holiday or with the people on that holiday. So I'm listening.
There was a festival celebrated in Savatthi called the Simpleton's Holiday, where the people smeared their bodies with ashes and cow dung for a period of 7 days. During this time, people showed no respect for kinsfolk, friends, or monks when they met them, and stood in doorways while insulting them with coarse talk. People who could not endure the coarse talk would pay the holiday makers a half, quarter, or a penny. These holiday makers would take the money and depart from their houses. For 7 days, the noble disciples caused food to be prepared for the congregation of monks at the monastery and sent it to them, but did not leave their houses themselves. On the 8th day, when the festival came to an end, the noble disciples invited the congregation of monks to be their guests, escorted them into the city, and gave them abundant offerings. Respectfully, each bowed themselves to the teacher and said that they did not allow him to enter the city during this time. The teacher listened and said that after this manner, the people conducted, they are intelligent and preserve heedfulness, which means that at last they would attain the attainment of the great Nibbana.
So I didn't understand the connection between the people smearing mud over their body and the monks.
To be honest, I didn't really understand it either because it came out of nowhere. And then the next sentence was them showing no respect. So I'm assuming maybe they do it to be like dirty and I don't know, like dirty and like unclean. So it's like makes it. I am not sure. I apologize.
Let's look. Bhala nakatta ghuttavatuhu. This is a little difficult to read indeed. Bala nakatta ghuttavatu. Bala nakatta. I don't know even what is gutta. Nakatta gutta. Could it be nakatta gutta? Okay. Means famous. Famous. The story about the famous foolish holidays. Simpletons are given to heedlessness. So, yes, I will share the screen with you. So then, so simpletons, the festival, so this festival, foolish and intelligent folk used to smear their bodies. I think the point here is that they wanted everyone to disrespect each other. And as they wanted to disrespect each other, some people didn't want that. They didn't like that they would be disrespected. So in order to be excused from, following this holiday, from following these rituals, they paid money. And therefore, it was fine that they didn't follow that tradition. So then people also didn't want, the Buddha and the monks to be abused by others as part of that tradition. So they asked the Buddha and the monks to stay in the monastery so that other people do not say bad things or insults, because again the people were telling insults to each other because that was the time. Something like you have today on the 1st April, you have April jokes. So something like that, except it's just one day and they had it 7 days. Okay, and in their case, it was not a joke to have fun, but it was probably insulting. But it is absolutely possible that it was joked, that they were just joking. but the Buddhist monks understood it as insults. You understand what I mean? That maybe actually these were 7 days of making jokes, but this was reinterpreted as insults and coarse talk. No, he calls it coarse talk. Yeah, and insults. So in Buddhism, actually, the 1st April or whatever is the day to make these jokes, actually, it's not in accordance with Buddhism. Okay, so because you're deceiving the other person, you're not really telling the truth, and you're causing them a little bit of distress and a little bit of suffering, and things could go wrong and things like that. So this is not, from the Buddhist point of view, from the strict Buddhist point of view, April jokes are not really, or pranks are not really good. Because when you make the prank, then you are the one who's above the other person. So the other person is the victim of your prank, and you are the one who's like the funny guy who made the prank. Now, that's not fair. It would be fair if the other one also makes a prank against you, but that's usually not the case. Usually you get one who's the victim and the one who's making the prank. So that's not fair. Okay, well, that's such a short story. Amazing. Nice. Yeah, very interesting thing that, yeah, I'm happy for this idea that we could connect it to the April jokes. It is absolutely possible, because the monks, are very strict about these things. Telling a half lie, telling a white lie, and deceiving is very bad in accordance if we take it in Buddhism. So we try to be honest and supportive and helpful. That's what we try. There is never an end to a prank. What about to make a prank by stealing and a prank by killing? It is actually possible. So those are not good pranks. Now maybe you have all heard of this YouTuber who went to the Japanese forest. Have you heard of that? And he took a video of a person who committed suicide. Have you ever heard of it? Anyone has seen it? Nobody watches YouTube? Very good. So then this was a huge problem. This was a huge problem. He took a video of a person who committed suicide, and he was laughing around it. So then this was a huge problem for him, and he lost all of his popularity. Previously he was extremely popular, and now I don't hear about him anymore. So sometimes you may if you want to be, if you want to stay abreast, if you want to stay updated about modern cultural whatever is going on, especially in the USA, you may like to watch. What's his name? Wow. Now I remember only his surname. Philip DeFranco. Have you ever heard of Philip DeFranco? Philip DeFranco. I'll send you his YouTube channel. He is
CNN is dumb. So dumb. Looney Tunes paint a picture of a tunnel on the side of a mountain, try to go through that tunnel on the side of a mountain.
It's very funny and very informative and very short. It's like 20 minutes every day, Monday to Friday, I think. And it's absolutely worth it. I didn't watch it for years now, but I can tell you it's absolutely worth it. It helps understand the US culture, the US thinking. It's very good. It's very good. He's providing all of these stories about who did something wrong and then it became a big scandal. And they are very practical. They're very practical for all of us because it shows you where is the US thinking regarding gender, regarding race, regarding politics, regarding sexuality, regarding good behavior, good manners, regarding parenting, regarding a relationship with animals, regarding gaming and YouTubing. These things are very important today, and it's good for you to know what's going on so that you understand each other with your friends, especially for you who live in the US. So I'm very thankful to Philip DeFranco for his news and for his updates. Yeah, I watched him for about 2 or 3 years, almost every day. Excellent news, really worth it. You do not have to watch him like whole life, but I think like if you take, let's say, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and watch him every day, the news, I'm sure that you will find there's something useful. Sometimes he's talking about Myanmar as well. He's talking sometimes about the other countries and the updates on those countries as well. If there is some kind of, how do you call it, mass shooting, if there's something like mass shooting in schools and so on, he's also covering that a little and providing the different points of view to the different things that happened. You can then Google yourself and find more information if you want, of course. But he's providing, the basic information so that you're well updated. And it helps you also to understand what are the popular people and popular thoughts and popular culture. It's very, very helpful. All right, so that's absolutely not related to Buddhism at all. But his ideas oftentimes are very well in lines in Buddhism. So I feel I have a great appreciation for what Philip is doing. Then, do we still have anyone reading? So we had Caitlin reading 2.4. Then anyone had to read 2.5? Alma, yes. Alma, have you read some pages from the introduction?
Yes.
Which pages?
41 to 60.
Super, yes. But I did mention it, right? I even mentioned it in the Viber group, right? You have
Yes.
introduction 41 to 60. So please read for us the introduction and then the summary, and that will be all for today.
The Buddha did not allow killing, but he did allow eating meat. The earnest wish is a desire for something in a later existence. The earnest wish as a religious wish requires a lot of work of merit. Meditation is not a reflection on the mind, but it is a severe exercise of discipline on the body and the mind.
You said that the asseveration of truth, or how you call it, that requires something, requires a lot of what?
The earnest wish.
Yes, the earnest wish requires a lot of what?
Merit. Like if you're
a merit. I see. So you would have to have a merit to do the earnest wish. Not really.
As a religious wish.
Not really. What if you wish for someone else? What if I wish, for example, that a poor child in Myanmar becomes rich, or an ill child in Myanmar becomes healthy? Then my merit doesn't really make much difference. It will be the child's merit that will enable that wish to come true or not. So yes, be careful. It's the merit of the one who will benefit from that wish. Yes, please.
The sacred scriptures of the Buddha fall into 3 principal divisions. And
the
that's
sacred scriptures
of the Buddha fall into 3 principal divisions.
Volunteer? I don't understand that word. The
fall.
Yes.
The 3 scriptures of the Buddhas fall into 3 principal divisions.
Okay, fall. Yes. And can we know the summary for story 2.5?
Kassapa the Great. This story was like a page long, so I don't really have a ton of notes on it. One day, Mahakassapa was residing in Pipali Cave. After going for alms, he meditated and developed insight, in which he surveyed all beings with a supernatural vision. The Buddha also surveyed the world with his supernatural vision and saw Mahakassapa contemplating the rising and falling of living beings. The Buddha then radiated his image, telling him that he would not be able to see the knowledge of arising and passing of living beings.
I totally didn't understand. So, Venerable Mahakassapa was reviewing arising, passing of living beings, and the Buddha saw that Venerable Kassapa was doing that. Then the Buddha created his image in front of Venerable Mahakassapa that was talking with Venerable Mahakassapa, right? And then, as this image was talking, the Venerable Mahakassapa,
the Buddha told Mahakassapa that he would not be able to see the knowledge of arising and passing of living beings.
But Venerable Mahakassapa already saw it, right? So
he was contemplating.
Excuse me?
He was contemplating the rising and passing of.
He was just contemplating, but he was not able to see it as it is of the beings. I see. That's interesting. Let's look at that. Knowledge of the rising and falling of living beings may not be compassed even with the knowledge of a Buddha. Living beings pass from one existence to another and obtain a new conception in a mother's womb without the knowledge of mother or father, and knowledge thereof may not be compassed. To know them beyond your range, Kassapa, for your range is very slight. It comes within range of the Buddhas alone to know and to see in their totality the rising and falling of living beings. So actually it seems that I think you misunderstood. Is that possible? That actually Venerable Mahakassapa did and was able to see the rising and falling of living beings, only he was not able to see it in like entirely, in totality. Okay, do you agree? Okay.
I was a little confused on that part because it had like a ton of words I didn't understand.
Which words?
It was not in like a sentence I would hear every day. It was like the words were like switched around a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Are you talking about the last big paragraph starting by the teacher seated at Jetavana? The previous two, the first two you probably understood, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So the teacher seated in Jetavana. So let's look at it. exercise supernatural vision. So supernatural vision is when you are able to see things that others cannot see. It's called clairvoyance. All right. So the Buddha went into meditation and he used psychic power to see, to understand, to notice. And the Buddha was wondering what's going on with Venerable Kassapa. The Buddha calls him my son because if somebody becomes enlightened, they are understood as the children of the Buddha in the spiritual sense. Straight away, he became aware of the following. He is contemplating the rising and falling of living beings. Rising and falling of living beings means birth and death. So Venerable Mahakassapa was wondering, how do these living beings get born and how they die? He tried to understand all of the living beings' nature. How many people are there? Are there any new? And those old, do they just like randomly disappear and stop to be born again? So Venerable Mahakassapa was wanted to watch all of the beings, to have the clear understanding about birth and death of the whole population of all living beings. Is that clear, Almao? Up to this point? Okay. So then the Buddha said, knowledge of the rising and falling of living beings. I see. That's what Venerable Mahakassapa said. Now, yes, actually, I myself misunderstood in the first reading. So he said, knowledge of the rising and falling of living beings may not be compassed even with the knowledge of a Buddha. Actually, this is now believed by many Burmese people. So, you see, many Burmese people believe that the Buddha is not able to see the beginning of it all. But the Buddha didn't say that there is a beginning. So there is no need to talk about whether the Buddha can see it or not. But the Buddha has never said that he cannot see it. The Buddha just said that it is difficult. Alright, so Venerable Mahakassapa believes that the Buddha cannot see it because Venerable Mahakassapa cannot see it at all. And then living beings pass from one existence to another and obtain a new... So actually, now I see. So this is actually what the Buddha said, because it's in one quote. We would have to look at the original to find out whether it is really one quote, that means all of this told by the Buddha, or whether the first one is Venerable Mahakassapa's sentence. Because you see, well, he is contemplating the rising, and then he said must be related to this. Okay, well, you see, sometimes the Pali texts are difficult and this translation is definitely confusing. I totally agree. Okay, so let's continue with whatever we have. So either the Buddha said it or Venerable Mahakassapa said it, that it's difficult for Buddhas to see all. Compassed means entirely. Okay, to see entirely, to understand entirely. So knowledge of the rising and falling, that means of arising and death of all living beings, may not be entirely understood even by the Buddha himself. Living beings pass from one existence to another and obtain a new conception in a mother's womb without the knowledge of mother or father. So this one definitely is confusing, but it wants to say that that sometimes mother and father do not even know that someone is born to them. There is a very interesting case of a lady who was a little bit chubby, and this lady, she woke up one day in the morning and she saw that she has a baby on her butt. She was pregnant for 9 months, but because she was chubby, she didn't know that she's pregnant. And then when she gave birth, it was not painful at all, and it happened throughout the night, at night. And so she woke up and she found a baby. She found out that she's a mother. All right, so that kind of thing. So at the conception, sometimes the mother and father, they don't even know it. Okay, they don't even know whether the mom is actually pregnant or not, whether she will give birth or not, or what is going on. And therefore, even if the mother and father cannot know it, then it's very hard to realize, to know by someone else, like who is not even the mother and father, who is totally out of that thing. So to know them is beyond your range, Kassapa, for your range is very slight. So range is the measure, is the level of skill of the psychic power scale. So we are here talking about a psychic power to know about other living beings, birth and death. So you know, oh, there is someone, let's say in the other house or in the other neighborhood, who is now dying. Another person is born in the other city. So that's a knowledge. You get it by psychic powers. And now, this is not enough. The correct psychic power doesn't just know that someone is born and someone dies, but it also knows why someone is born as a human, why someone dies now, why someone is born in heaven or someone is born in animal realm. It means the superpower, this psychic power, gives you the ability to know the reason why. So you also know their previous life, and you also know the consequence of this life, of what they did for the next life. Where will they be born? Why are they born in this life, and why will they be born in the next life? And what will be the next life? And when will they die? So it's a pretty deep knowledge. It's a pretty difficult ability. So that's the range. So Venerable Kassapa was not able to know that many beings to that extent regarding their birth and death. It comes within the range of the Buddhas alone to know and see the totality of rising and falling of living beings. And so then the Buddha made the radiant image, he made the shining image of himself to show that the Buddha knows. The light is a metaphor for knowledge. So the Buddha made light to show to Venerable Mahakassapa, I know, I see. All right, it's a way how you say, I know, I see. Instead of saying, I know, I see, you make your body shining. It's the same thing, except that the latter is more difficult. All right, then, when the wise man banishes heedlessness by heedfulness, he climbs the terrace of wisdom and, free from sorrow, looks upon the sorrowing folk of the world. So, now we are here talking about heedlessness of those who are born again and again, those who are not enlightened. When the wise man who is enlightened, when the Buddha has banished the rebirth by getting free from rebirth, by becoming enlightened, that's here, by heedfulness, so being mindful and becoming enlightened, he climbs the terrace of wisdom. That means he comes to a level of arahant, of enlightened people. And he's free from suffering. He doesn't get born again. He looks upon the sorrowing folk of the world. He looks at the people, at the beings who are born and die again and again and again. Steadfast, he is very clear about the truth. So nobody can change his understanding of impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and not self in the body and mind. So he is very clear about what's going on, as though standing on a mountain top. So he's standing at the top and looking at the beings, how they all are born and die again and again, while he is above this problem. He is no more in that problem. It's as if you have a large war. It's as if you have, in the Middle Age war, and you're standing at the top of a mountain and the war happens down there. You're out of the war, out of the danger, you know? Whereas all of the people down there, they suffer, they're fighting, they're in danger. And so this person looks at them, looks at these people who are standing in the ground below, those who are still fighting, those who think that killing, stealing, adultery, telling lies and drinking alcohol will bring them some victory. No, it's a loss. So instead, it's necessary to give it all up and climb the mountain and achieve peace. Now, is it clear, Almao? All right, so it was a pleasure to see everybody, and I hope to see you maybe next week, maybe earlier than that. Caitlin, are we meeting sometime? I forgot. You told me probably last week, right?
Yes. My mom, I don't know what she was doing yesterday, but she was calling someone talking about Airbnb and something. But I'm not sure if we're gonna be meeting.
Where do you, Yeah, can you please tell me again, where do you live?
I live in Arcadia.
Is that the
near Pasadena?
And what is the state? Is
California.
Oh, is that California? Aha.
Mm-hmm.
I see. Well, I will be in LA for 3 days. And you're closer to LA than San Francisco?
Oh, yes. San Francisco is a 6-hour drive.
And LA?
30 minutes.
30 minutes. Okay, well, that's good. I will be in LA for 3 days, and it will be from 19 to 21. May 19, 20, and 21. So if you want, I'm sure there will be a chance to come because it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Got it. Yeah, I think my mom called one of the numbers shown in the itinerary. I'm not really sure what plans she's trying to make, but maybe we'll see each other. I'm not sure.
No problem. Anyway, we will see each other in the class. So yes, we definitely will have class next week. This time it was quite challenging because I was on the airplane, so I had to cancel grade 1, grade 4. But hopefully the flight tickets now will be arranged in such a way that we don't miss anything. It was a pleasure to see everybody. May you be happy, may you be healthy, and may you be successful in everything you do.
Goodbye, Venerable Sir.
Goodbye, Venerable Sir.